Good morning and welcome to the 10 at 10 video. Guys, today I've got Kate with me. I'm Tim. You may have seen Kate in some of our recent videos. She recently shot a top 5. She's been working here for 4 years and this is her first time on a 10 at 10 video. So give her some shout outs in the comments. We'd really appreciate it. Guys, we list 10 new trees every single Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's actually 20. You can sign up for a weekly email to find out what the other 10 are that are not in this video. Kate, what do we have started out today?
A really hard plant to murder, Fragma Hydrangea.
Pretty close, pretty close.
Moonlight. That one's not so hard. But what's really great about this is it's a climbing hydrangea and it's very shade tolerant as well as cold tolerant, which makes it great for here in the mountains and other locations. It grows really well on wood, but what is so nice about it is, you know, if you don't have a lot of space in your landscape, you have a really showy plant with beautiful white flowers. So it's just a really nice specimen.
Yeah, I fell in love with this tree when I saw a large specimen in Greenwood, South Carolina. A guy had a large tree and he had a Fragma Hydrangea growing on it, moonlight. It was just this amazing specimen. It was 20 years old. It was probably 40 to 60 feet tall, growing on the tree. And it just gives this silver blue leaf with almost a reticulated style look because it has this silver blue over top of these heart-shaped leaves. The Fragma Hydrangea, that means Hydrangea means hydrangea-like. And some people actually argue this is the Japanese version of Hydrangea petiolaris, but the difference is people categorize the different species so we can import these from Japan because it's technically illegal to bring back some of the hydrangeas they have there in Japan. But Hydrangea Fragma Hydrangea, we can bring that back. This has this blue-silver kind of color to it. It's amazing. It grows on any type of wood like Kate was mentioning. Give it a trellis to grow on. Give it a wooden fence. Put it on a tree out there in the landscape. And just take some fishing line out there and start one of these branches on there. And this will continue to grow up and spread across the wood. It's going to make a beautiful thing in the landscape that can definitely give you some nice vertical interest in the garden. Next up, guys, we've got Acer Pomatum Koi.
Yeah, well, they have this beautiful bronze color that they get in the spring, summer months. And I mean, honestly, I don't even feel like I have to introduce it. It's this beautiful Macawa type. All you MrMapleites know it well. It's beautiful. Every open house, it's so fun to see people run for it. So, you know, come and get it while you can.
It's true. It's one of the ones that's going to sell out quickly. So on our website, there are notifications. We can be notified when this tree becomes available again. But also our website doesn't hold it for you until you complete that checkout process. So check out very quickly today with Koi. This is an introduction that Matt and I found here at MrMaple as part of our Area 51 collection. The Macawa types have been really popular with collectors because, well, also they're really popular with us. We love them. They just have this lively feel out there in the landscape. And this, to me, is one of the best bronze-colored Macawas, but it's also one of the best fall-color Macawas. It can really give you some nice shades of orange-red in the fall.
Yeah, and it's a smaller growing tree, which makes it great for, you know, just having it right up in front of your landscape. You don't have to worry about the root system getting too big or affecting anything. So it's a really convenient, beautiful, wonderful tree.
Yep.
So here we have glowing embers. This is just a beautiful maple. It has a really bright red, almost fire truck color that it gets to in the fall. It's really stunning. And I know your good friend Michael Durr found it over in Georgia. I'd love to hear more about that story.
Yeah, Dr. Michael Durr, he wrote the book on woody landscape, ornamental plants. He basically the textbook that they use in horticulture classes all around the United States, all around the world. Dr. Durr wrote that. And this is a Japanese maple that's he named down there from UGA. And it's vigorous, it's heat tolerant, it's easy to grow, and this tree has phenomenal fall color. And Glowing Embers really describes it accurately. As you said, it goes to that bright orange fire truck engine red kind of color in the fall. For me, this is a tree that's hard to beat for a green upright that goes to red fall color. Now, one thing to note is there is another tree out there with the name Glowing Embers. It was introduced in Canada beforehand, but it's not really that popular in the trade. So if you do see that, do notice that there are 2 trees now, Japanese maples, both named Glowing Embers. But I mean, for me, this tree is awesome because you can put this tree out in the landscape and it gets out there quick. It makes a specimen quick. One of the reasons it was actually selected is because it has some rootability to it. So people can actually root this, which makes it interesting because part of me thinks, well, could you root this and then use it for rootstocks? Some different things to throw out there, but a really fun, awesome plant. And it does flower pretty prolifically. we actually have a whole video on Do Japanese Maples Flower? And in this, we focused on the tree at Maplewood Gardens, where we go and talk about glowing embers specifically and show its flowers.
Yeah, so very beautiful tree for us growing, lots of flowers.
Bringing back a classic, we've got Acer Pomatum Koi.
Yeah, these are such beautiful trees, especially for bonsai. I know that's another question we get all the time whenever we have an open house is what trees are good for bonsai. And this is just really a classic because of its style of growth. It's wider than it grows tall, and then it's also very slow growing, so it's a classic for bonsai.
Yeah, it also has really small leaves, and in the springtime you get a purple-red border around each and every leaf. That adds another dynamic to this very interesting compact tree that makes a great container plant as well. I mean, that's basically what we're doing with bonsai, is we're basically growing the tree in a container. And if you hear that it's a great tree for bonsai, that also means it's probably an easy tree to grow in a container. And it's typically going to have a very unique habit to it that you're going to enjoy on your patio or on your driveway. As a small little dwarf Japanese maple, Kiyohime is an awesome tree. It's extremely heat tolerant, it can handle a lot of sun, and it just stays short and grows wide.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi approved. Great for bonsai, great for Mr. Maple. It's an awesome. Yeah. So here we have a beautiful Cryptomeria japonica twinkle toes. It gets this name because of this new growth, this kind of bright yellow-green color that it gets. It's deer resistant, which is great in these type of areas, but it's a very petite, beautiful little conifer. It grows great in the cold climate, so
yeah,
it's really beautiful.
One of the reasons I love Cryptomeria japonica too is it can handle not only those colder climates, but can also handle hotter climates in the shade, which is really unusual. Our good friend Tom Cox, who recently passed away, we did some full breakdowns on his garden years ago. You should go check that out. And we go through and tour his whole garden. He has one of the best Cryptomeria collections in the world down in Georgia. And it grows in can grow in a slightly more shaded situation. That means it's going to be something that can pair with your Japanese maples, grow in a little more shaded garden. And with twinkle toes, it gives you some of that brighter twinkly color with some brighter yellow color.
Yes, and then yeah, I also just love how it only gets to 1.5 feet or so at maturity. So regardless of how much room you have, this can really be a standout in your landscape.
That's for sure. Those small little conifer gardens, small container gardens. I mean, you can just see this tree just extra cute up next to your house. It's really going to rock it out, add a new dimension, being that brighter color, contrasts well with some other smaller dwarf trees, and it gives you that year-round interest, being that it's an evergreen.
Twinkle.
Y'all, next up, we've got a classic that hits the market, and it's really just taken over the market as a dwarf red Japanese maple. We're talking about Fireball.
Yeah, so not only does Mr. Worldwide love it, but we love it too. It was originally made grown in New Jersey, so it has a really good cold tolerance. And yeah, it's this beautiful witch's broom. It has a very bright color when at first the leaves come out, but then it changes to a maroon color as the year passes on. And it's just a really great standout, compact growth.
Yeah, found by Dave Vercade, one of our good friends. I mean, this was found as a dense witch's broom, which is a dwarf mutation. We've got a full video on what is a witch's broom, a couple videos on what is a witch's broom, and a whole podcast on the top witch's brooms where we discuss, what's going on with witch's brooms and why might these actually occur. You should go check that out. But this was found as one of those dwarf mutations. It's just this compact growth growing in a tree, looks like a squirrel's nest. You take a cutting off the Japanese maple, graft it, and then you get a dwarf compact Japanese maple out of it. And this one happened to have some really good red color. Fireball, as the name suggests, gives you some fiery red colors in the spring, but also a fiery red color in the fall. Good maroon colors during the summer. For a dense compact tree, Fireball, it really rocks it out.
It really does.
Kate, what do we have next?
Well, here we have the blues. It's a Picea pungens. And one thing that I really do think stands out with this tree is how if it's staked up, you can have a nice tall growing tree, very vertical in its growth. But if without the stake you want a ground cover, that's also something you can accomplish with it. So a lot of versatility. It has this really beautiful blue silver color to it, which I think we can both agree is pretty difficult to find in nature.
Yeah, you don't find blue in many things. You don't find it in flowers. You rarely find it in flowers. You rarely find it in colors in the garden. You definitely don't find it in Japanese maples no matter what eBay and some things on Amazon may say. You get it in some conifers though, and you really get it in some of these weeping blue spruces. And it just makes a new dynamic in the landscape that can give you that staked up vertical shape with that weeping style, or you can just let it grow as a ground cover, as Kate mentioned, and really play with this tree with those different dynamics that you would with something like Ryusin. And excellent tree to add that blue color in the garden.
Yeah, and it grows about 5 to 6 feet, so you get a lot of bang for your buck with this little guy. He'll mature to a nice size.
Now, take this tree out in the garden, plant it near a summer gold. You get a starkly different habit with upright and yellow color. Throw in any red Japanese maple you want. Boom, pow. You've added a color majestic thing going there in the garden. Guys, easy to use, easy to make your garden look great with the weeping blue spruce.
Yeah, have a little fun with the color wheel.
Guys, next up, we've got Pinus parviflora Goldilocks.
Yeah, so not only does it have a great name, but it's just right with this new growth. It turns a little bit yellow, and then it has this really beautiful, as you can see, blue color to the old growth. So it has this really great variegation to it. I can just imagine it in its habit in Korea and Japan on those Rocky Mountains. Just beautiful specimen.
Yeah, so the Japanese white pines are amazing. They're one of my favorite conifers when it comes to adding that evergreen interest into a Japanese maple garden. Give this tree some sunlight. You may need to give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun in hotter climates, but for a Japanese white pine, this one keeps giving you that yellow variegated new growth, where it gets the name of Goldilocks. This is a selection that was given that name, I was told, by Billy Schwartz, the guy who found Shayna. You can go listen to the Billy Schwartz Experience. He talks about boxing. He was Muhammad Ali's contract lawyer during the Frazier fights. Guys, he's a crazy, awesome individual who helped the Conifer Society get started. And this is a tree that he brought back from Japan. It is electric, it is amazing, and to me, it's still a classic that's hard to beat when it comes to a Japanese white pine.
I would have to agree. It has these cute little cones too, so lots of reasons to love it.
Guys, next up, we've got Thuga plicata whipcord.
Yeah, so these are actually founded over in Oregon by Barbara Hupp, so lovely lady in the horticulture industry, always fun to see. But I really love these because they just remind me of those Dr. Seuss trees from the Lorax. So they're really fun to look at. They have a beautiful umbrella-like habit, a little bit of a wider habit than a lot of conifers, so they're really beautiful.
Yeah, and these were actually grafted on a high standard. So this allows this whipcord-like fashion to just sort of weep down. And as you can see here, some of these are already getting close to the ground on some of the trees. I mean, it has this long whip-like habit to it. I know when my mom went to Buckholt's nursery and she saw large specimens of whipcord, she was like, what is this? And this is such an awesome Western cedar. It's very unique and different. And like you mentioned, it's by Barbara Hupp. She's the same one that introduced Hupp's dwarf, the Japanese maple that's so popular. And this is probably even more popular in the conifer industry because you see this now in yards all around America. It has a fun texture that is very thread-like, and because of that, it just gives this soft, graceful feel to a nice evergreen for your yard.
Yeah, so way to go, Barbara. We like your tree.
Y'all, next up, we've got 10 gallons of Acer Pomatum Baldsmith.
Yeah, so this is just one of my favorites that I've loved watching throughout the year. It has really beautiful pink, almost yellow new growth, and then as the summer progresses, it gets this yellow with a little bit of a red hue to the leaves. It's just stunning to watch throughout the year. And I mean, you can see if there's plenty of potential for pruning. It usually has a very umbrella-like shape, so if you want as many curves or as open of a canopy as you want, there's lots of different options. The
thing I love about this tree is it has a purple, pink-red kind of color in the new growth in the spring. New growth in the summer returns to that as well. J.D. Vertree is listed as a green Japanese maple that has color to it. I think anytime you have color that's not just green, you've got a red Japanese maple myself. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. But guys, we're shipping these awesome size 10 gallons, good weeping habit. It has this nice arching overall shape, and you get a nice specimen to start out. These are gonna go quick today, so you better take advantage of this. Guys, we really appreciate everybody who came to our open house this past weekend. We had a blast. It's one of those times when it's just awesome to see people talk trees. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know our next open house It's Labor Day. So go ahead, make your plans now. We'd love to have you here at Mr. Maple for our Labor Day open house. Guys, one of the best times of the year. And when it comes to Japanese maples, we try to put new and exciting things, and you'll find even things you couldn't find in the summer at our fall or open house on Labor Day. It's gonna be a blast. You'll wanna be there. And guys, remember to check out Today Fast Today, because many of these trees, like this large 10-gallon Baldsmith, will sell out quick. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.